Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, and they're out of both Chico, California and Mills River, North Carolina, and this is their Hoptimum, the 2023 release, or as they like to call it, the 2023 appearance. So they're calling this one a Triple IPA that comes in 11% alcohol by volume, 75 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just over 7 weeks old. So I've been waiting on this one for a while. I've seen a lot of beer tubing friends, a lot of on-tap friends, picking this one up, drinking it, enjoying it, and I'm like, where the hell is it? And shout out to a fellow beer tuber and good friend of mine, Josh over at Last Beer. He would troll me a little bit and be like, hey Joe, Hoptimum show up yet? I'm like, no, Josh. A couple times he asked. Josh, finally here. So this one showed up a couple weeks ago, and I'm reviewing it as part of the Shelfie Beer Reviews for the month of July 2023. And this is one I have not had since 2014. So it's been 9 years since I had this one. And the reason for that is I didn't used to like West Coast hop forward beers at all. They were a little bit too bitter, too much for me. Last time I had this, I gave it like a 3.5, I think, maybe a 3.75 back then. But now my palate loves the West Coast hop forward beers. I love that bitterness. I just like them in general. So I think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot more than I used to, and we're going to find out momentarily. So this one, I think they changed the hops over the year, but this one is brewed with Chinook, Idaho 7, Magnum and Simcoe hops. So yeah, 11%, huge triple West Coast IPA. I'm here for it. Give it a pour here. See what we got going on using the Firestone Walker Tiku, because why not? Oh, that's looking like the classic West Coast IPA, double IPA, triple IPA that you and I both probably love at this point. So yeah, it has that it's like a copper color, like a golden rust color. Just, I don't know, it just looks fucking phenomenal. Has a good clarity, you can see through it, almost lager-esque. Just under a finger of an off-white, somewhat creamy looking head, decent carbonation, hold up to the light. Yeah, I mean, this honestly looks exactly how I want this beer to look like. Looks fucking phenomenal. Has that golden, it has almost like a gold color. We'll just say like a straight on gold color. On camera it's gonna look a little bit darker, but man, fuck, it looks beautiful. Maybe even bronze, like gold into bronze. Anyway, no. Yeah. So the beauty about like these huge triple IPAs is definitely there's a lot of malt. I mean, they're using a ton of malt, 11%. But you get the malt character, and that's what you kind of need to enjoy about West Coast IPAs, especially old school. You want that caramel, bready, biscuity kind of malt character to be there. And then you want, the citrus and a little bit of maybe like pineapple or something like that to come in. And then obviously a huge pine kind of into dank quality. And I'm getting caramel here. I'm getting a little bit like a honey, bready, biscuity, definitely malt. But then get a little bit of orange marmalade. So it's that citrus, that tangerine kind of mixing in with the base breadiness. Give me a little bit of orange marmalade. I get orange marmalade two ways. Number one, if a old school beer like an American IPA or a West Coast IPA is substantially old, I'll get it and it'll be pretty prominent. Or in a situation like this where it's such a big beer that the malt's very prevalent, so it definitely shows up. Maybe a touch of I wouldn't say pineapple, more like a peach for me. Definitely stone fruit. And then there's not as big of a pine kind of feeling that I was, aromatically speaking, I thought there'd be a huge pine character. It's a little bit more dank, floral than pine. Pine is there, but it's very minute. It just smells like a big ass old school West Coast triple IPA, which is exactly what this beer is. And again, I think they've changed the recipe over the years because I don't remember, these 4 hops specifically being in this beer. I could be wrong though. Could totally be wrong. Anyway, I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Fucking delicious. It is so delicious. Holy shit. And listen. A lot of times I give beers, higher ratings because they hide the alcohol well. And a lot of old school beers like this didn't hide the alcohol well. Well, let me tell you, do I know this is boozy? Sure. When I say 11%, fuck no. This beer is incredibly smooth and drinkable for the ABV. It definitely drinks like a big double IPA, triple IPA. That's the one issue I have with triple IPAs. If I can taste the substantial booze, not for me. Personal preference. This, I really can't tell that it's 11% triple IPA. It's sweet though. Definitely is a sweet character to it. Body in this one, definitely lower full, 11%. Makes sense. Maybe higher side of medium. Somebody might say it's thin. It's not like substantially thin or anything. It's a little bit thin for 11%. I would say maybe more like in the 9 to 10 range. But I always say it in the Triple IPA review, almost every time, if it's a little bit thin, it works for me. That's my preference. I'd rather see this higher side of medium body than like straight on syrup. Just personal preference. But it could be a little bit thin to somebody. Mouthfeel, crisp, effervescent, moderately carbonated. There's a smoothness on the palate, not really creamy, not soft. This is not New England or a hazy, Triple IPA, so it's not supposed to be. The taste, I gotta be honest, this is a very delicious beer. But maybe because of the age, just over 7 weeks old, getting that 2-month realm, the hops are definitely dropping off a little bit. So I'm glad I got to it now, but I would have preferred this to drink probably a couple weeks ago when the beer showed up. But, it is what it is. Because I think the hop character is a little less impactful than I was hoping. But it's still fucking absolutely delicious. So let's go taste. Right up front, all that malt goodness for me. And it's a really complex malt character. And I feel like I said that in like a super surprise kind of way. It's 11%. The amount of malt they're using in this is very high. But it has not as much caramel. I'm getting more like this honey, bready kind of sensation, but it's more like honey. It's definitely not like straight caramel. It's like a honey biscuity, bready kind of malt character. It's fucking so... Like, I never thought I would be drinking this and be like, oh, the malt character's fucking fantastic. It's the best thing about... Like, it really is. First half of the palate's malt character, and it's fucking dynamite. After that, I get that citrus. It's orange. It's like white grapefruit. It's slightly juicy, but like there's a little pithiness going on. And as it starts to pass through, I get a kiss, a very slight kiss of like a peach, maybe a little bit of pineapple, and maybe a little bit of pineapple. There's a little bit of that orange marmalade at the front of the palate too, with the citrus mixing in with the base beer, and it's definitely orange and grapefruit on the palate. Anyway, halfway through, pineapple hits, and then it transitions. And it transitions. This is, again, not super pine either. Is there pine here? Sure. But I'm getting more of like this very dank floral sensation. And this beer, I thought it was going to be like super over-the-top bitter. No, it's moderately, maybe a touch over moderately bitter. Dude, listen. Again, maybe because of the age, I just love that complex fucking malt character at the beginning. And it's making up for the lack of that like super pine resin that I was thinking I was going to get. And like, I thought this would be like, just with the bitterness, just like blow out my palate. But it's, again, moderately, maybe a touch over. But the malt character is making up for that for me. Like, and I never thought I'd say that. It's almost as drinking like a American barley wine to some extent. Like maybe a slightly aged American barley wine. But no, it's full on dry, touch over moderately bitter. It's balanced, but I think it leans a little bit more to the malt side. Again, could be the age. I don't remember it being this complex with the malt character, but then again, I had this beer 9 years ago. I don't know the fuck I thought back in 2014 in regards to anything, let alone a specific beer. This is fucking good. This is real good. I'm starting to get buzzed. I'm going to drink this entire thing probably in... This is so scary too. It's 11%, like I said. I know it's bigger. I can tell maybe 9, 9.5, 10, not 11. I'm going to drink this so quickly that I'm not even know what just hit me by the time I finish this bottle. This is fucking a scary drinkable beer. Yeah, it's fucking tasty. The 2023 appearance from Sierra Nevada's Hoptimum, it's fucking good. So I have no issues giving this beer right here a low 4.5 out of 5, no 4.4 out of 5. It is what it is. And now as I say that, after that full fucking 2-minute speech about, oh, it doesn't have pine resin and the fucking malt character, blah, 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 blah. Shut your fucking mouth, Joe. Okay? Shut it. I'm starting to get like a little resinous kind of finish on the back of the palate, like back into throat. Yeah, this is awesome. 4.4 out of 5. All day, every day. Price point availability. This, in my area, $13.99 a 6-pack. Yeah, no, $13.99 6-pack for 11% fucking beer that's this good. And this, my friends, is why you buy the old school craft breweries and the shelfie beers from Lagunitas and Sierra Nevada, their price points are fantastic and they make quality beer. So if you're out there and you're just somebody who buys local and doesn't touch like the big boys anymore, buy Sierra Nevada stuff, buy Lagunitas stuff. They can make great beer, and this is a perfect example. Sierra Nevada is one of those breweries that's like, you know, they originally were awesome, then people seem to like shun them because, oh, I gotta drink local and regional, and now they're back to the forefront like, oh my god, price point, availability is they've always made good beer. They'll continue to make good beer. They're just a fucking great brewery. Check them out if you haven't. And especially this beer. Availability is Sierra Nevada. Pretty much everywhere. You probably should see this. Although I say that, and this one took a substantially longer time than a lot of my friends that show up here in Buffalo, but finally got it done. I wish it was a little bit fresher. I would like to try this maybe 4 or 5 weeks old, but it is what it is. You got to make do with what you have. And when it comes to these shelfie beers, you know, sometimes you pick them up and they're 4 or 5 months old. Sometimes you pick them up and they're a month old. Who knows? Anyway, if you've had this one before, any prior releases, this year's release or this year's appearance, let me know. It's a little bit of a longer review, but at the end of the day, you know, I got to beat the drum for some of these old school breweries that still do it extremely well. And this is one of them, Sierra Nevada. Whenever, you know, one of their seasonals comes out or one of their new releases, I'm going to pick them up because, like, I loved Summerfest this year. I've had some comments from folks saying, you know, it's a little bit too bitter maybe for the style and whatnot, but it's still a delicious beer regardless of stylistically what you think it should be. And beers like that, kind of forgotten by a lot of folks. This beer, you know, it's a shelfie. It is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to shut it down. Thanks everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Until the next one. Cheers.